Hey, what's up you guys? So I'm coming here with another video, and tonight we are talking about sacrifice. We're talking about Jordan Peterson. Let's get into it. But first, of course, if you're new to my channel, what is up? My name is Mitch, Maverick Mitch, hey Mitch, all the Mitches, and pretty much I like talking about what I talk about. So, current events, reviews, and pop culture within the scope of entertainment, culture, and purpose. So, TV, movie reviews, social political commentary, be sure to check out all those videos as you're finishing this video. So yeah, coming to you another video because I have time, so I figured why not just do another reaction video, because I like these thought exercises. I like going into these videos, and even though I'm not garnering a lot of views right now, like it's still, I like talking about what I'm talking about. So again, from the last video, I was doing the Lucky Boy podcast, and I was going and talking about is Capitalism is Evil. I talked about like Jordan Peterson. Obviously, I listened to a lot of Jordan Peterson, and tonight we're doing the same thing, talking about choosing your sacrifice. And this is an animation photo talking from one of his talks, and I think it will just be kind of like a TED Talk type thing. And so we'll go into it, listen to it, and give our thoughts about it. So let's check it out.
Today's video is brought to you by Audible.
Sacrifice. You get to pick your damn sacrifice. That's all. You don't get to not make one. You're sacrificial whether you want to be or not. This is the Peter Pan story, roughly speaking. Peter Pan is this magical boy. Pan is the god of everything, roughly speaking, right? And so it's not an accident that he has the name Pan. And he's the boy that won't grow up. And he's magical. Well, that's because children are magical. They can be anything. They're nothing but potential. And Peter Pan doesn't want to give that up. Why? Well, he's got some adults around him, but the main adult is Captain Hook. Well, who the hell wants to grow up to be Captain Hook? First of all, you've got a hook. Second, you're a tyrant. And third, you're chased by the dragon of chaos with a clock in its stomach. Right? The crocodile. It's already got a piece of you. Well, that's what happens when you get older. Time has already got a piece of you. And eventually, it's got a taste for you. And eventually, it's going to eat you. And so Hook is so traumatized by that he can't help but be a tyrant. And then Peter Pan looks at traumatized.
Just real quick, I like how he's going into this video already. Or at least the animation, and he's using a story, in this case Peter Pan, and talking about how it plays into real world stuff, other than just like the symbology and all this stuff and metaphors and all this stuff. And all of this is cool just because I listened to his other stuff talking about like order and chaos, and just, you know, again, I like this approach just because it's a easy way of saying like what does this mean. Like he was saying, like the dragon, right? And talking about it is something that is that is taking away from you with time and everything. And so, you know, I like this. Sorry, I'll continue. But again, I like how he's just playing this, using these analogies and everything. So yeah.
Hook and says, well, no, I'm not sacrificing my childhood for that. So that's fine, except he ends up king of the Lost Boys. In Neverland, well, Neverland doesn't exist, and who the hell wants to be king of the Lost Boys? And he also sacrifices the possibility to have a real relationship with a woman, because that's Wendy, right? And she's kind of conservative, middle-class, London-dwelling girl. She wants to grow up and have kids and have a life. She accepts her mortality. She accepts her maturity. Peter Pan has to content himself with Tinkerbell. She doesn't even exist. She's like the fairy of porn. She doesn't exist. She's the substitute for the real thing. And so, but the dichotomy that you're talking about is very tricky, because there's a sacrificial element in maturation, right? You have to sacrifice the pluripotentiality of childhood for the actuality of a frame. And the question is, well, why would you do that? Well, one reason is it happens to you whether you do it or not. You can either choose your damn limitation, or you can let it take you unaware when you're 30, or even worse, when you're 40. And then that is not a happy day. And I see people like this, and I think it's more and more common in our culture, because people can put off maturity without suffering an immediate penalty. But all that happens is the penalty accrues, and then when it finally hits, it just wallops you, because when you're 25, you could be an idiot. It's no problem. even when you're out in a job search, it's like, well, you don't have any experience and you're kind of clueless. It's, yeah, you're young, you know, it's no problem. That's what young people are like, but they're full of potential. Okay, well, now you're the same person at 30. It's like people aren't so thrilled about you at that point. It's like, what the hell have you been doing for the last 10 years? Well, I'm just as clueless as I was when I was 22. It's, yeah, but you're not 22. You're an old infant, right? And that's an ugly thing, an old infant. So, part of the reason you choose your damn sacrifice, because the sacrifice is inevitable, but at least you get to choose it. And then there's something that's even more complex than that in some sense, is that the problem with being a child is that all you are is potential, and it's really low resolution. You could be anything, but you're not anything. So then you go and you adopt an apprenticeship, roughly speaking, and then at least you become something. And when you're something, that makes the world open up to you again. You know, like if you're a really good plumber, then you end up being far more than a plumber, right? You end up being a good employer. Not that plumbers, I'm not putting plumbers down. It's like more power to plumbers. They've saved more lives than doctors. So, hygiene, right? So, you know, if you're a really good plumber, well, then you have some employees, you run a business, you train some other people, you enlarge their lives, you're kind of a pillar of the community, you have your family. Once you pass through that narrow training period, which narrows you and constricts you and develops you at the same time, then you can come out the other end with a bunch of new possibility at hand. And Jung talked about that. He thought that part of the proper path of development in the last half of life was to rediscover the child that you left behind as you were apprenticing. And so then you get to be something and regain that potential at the same time. Very, very smart. Well, he was very, very smart. So that's very wise thing to know. Sacrifice. You get to pick your damn sacrifice. That's all. You don't get to not make one. You're sacrificial whether you want to be or not. That's a good thing to know as well.
Awesome. Just closing it off, it says you can't cross the ocean unless you are willing to lose sight of the shore. Ancient Japanese proverb. Okay, so when it comes to these things, again, I love these things. I'm learning from these things, you know, and I like learning, you know, just because I'm not in school, I am learning through other means and everything. And so, everything here is kind of like, resonates, you know, like that's like, it's true. Like your time is valuable, you know, you are, in a quote unquote, depreciating your potential as you are getting older. And so how you train yourself is how you make yourself more valuable, right? And so I definitely agree there, you know, and again, it's illuminating, right? And so bringing it to like a larger picture, I guess, maybe like how I perceive Gen Z, millennials, and everything. And so one thing that I just did finish with a podcast on the PHLV radio with Josie Harrison, Joe Coy's mom, and everything. And we're talking about this entrepreneur who had nothing but through his own failures, and that was was his advice. It's like fail often and fail quickly, because when you fail often and fail quickly, you learn what to do. Your learning curve increases rather than just failing slowly and then you just wasted the whole time and everything. And so going into this video and sacrificing and everything, and so I think it's a good point to learn, especially when it comes to millennials and Gen Z and those folks who are starting out. And I guess this doesn't have to be Gen Z and millennials, but it could be anyone at any time. But you know, like there is a level in which hard work and sacrifice and perseverance, right? Because when you become successful, right, it's not overnight. And like, especially me being a YouTuber, like it is hard. Like right now, like it's hard because I am definitely plateauing. Like after my 30-day challenge and after talking about current events and everything, like after post-election, I know we're still in a contested elections, but my views have totally plateaued, like, and everything. And so right now I had to do another grind, right? I went from like 400 to 700 subscribers, and now it's like it's steady, right? It's plateauing. And so even myself, I have to, okay, like, now I have to reevaluate and look into this, and like how do I look into my situation, and how do I improve, how do I grow, how do I take advantage and capitalize on what is going on and everything, and how do I evolve, and how do I market myself so that I do get more subscribers, right, and more viewership, and you know, get more subscribers so that I get more views, right? And so it's a constant cycle. And you know, I was hoping this was going to be more philosophical, right, when it comes to like order and chaos and everything, that he goes into, like, you know, but this is still a good lesson to be learned and everything. And I hope the audience learn something here. If you haven't learned anything about Jordan Peterson, definitely you should look him up. He wrote the book of 12 Rules for Life. You can say it's a very common, like, self-help book or whatever, but again, because he does say, like, clean your room, right? And so very common sense stuff, but he goes into depth into it. And so he's a very smart guy, and like, he does have controversy around him, more so coming from the left, right? Because they misquote him, and then they see what his stuff is. They view him as very, like, anti or alt-right and everything, and he's definitely not alt-right. You should definitely listen to his stuff, and he's a very proponent for free speech, and then he just doesn't like compelled speech, and that was the more controversy. Like, he's down for pronouns on an individual basis, but he doesn't want to be compelled to gender pronouns, right? And so that was one of the biggest things, and that's why. And so by just having that statement, he's labeled as a transphobe by the leftists. And so, but yeah, I think that was a cool video. Things good to be learned, and you know, time is valuable. Like, even myself, I get comfortable where I am in my life sometimes, and so I need to, if I want to have a family, if I want to do these things, I need to be willing to sacrifice my comfortability where I am right now, so that I can have what is better for me in the future and all that stuff. And so, yeah, totally good, awesome. Well, comment below, tell me what you think, if you found that illuminating and inciting and fascinating and everything, and let me know below. If you're new to my channel, you can follow me on my Instagram at HeyMitchMitch. You can follow my joint Instagram at It's Mandatory Fun, where I do other videos with my friend Jen. I'm also on Parler, Mitch, and thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Peace, peace, peace. Be with you.